Welcome to Reality Check, a real estate podcast brought to you by PropertyPro Nigeria, your number one real estate marketplace. Today we are going to be talking about insurance.
But specifically home insurance and how it affects the average Nigeria. With us here we have Samuel. He works at Leadway Assurance. Let's allow him introduce himself.
Yeah, good afternoon. My name is Omojari Samuel. I work with Leadway Assurance as an operations officer. And basically, we take the processing of insurance policies from when it comes as a raw data from the customer to the final process where it becomes a policy to the customer. Thank you.
That's amazing.
Sounds very detailed.
Yeah, it's very detailed. Okay, I know that insurance is not something that you just wake up to say you want to study because of the way it is, like the Nigerian market, like the way the market is currently. And, so I would like you to take us through your back memory lane, how you ventured into, how you got to study insurance in school, or was it your accounting that turned to insurance, or your banking and finance that turned to insurance? Because it's very rare to see people, say that, oh, I picked insurance, jam and all those stuff. So just walk us through the process.
Yeah, from secondary school, the native course we all know that we hear from when we want to go to the universities in the aspect of business admin is accounting. Everybody wants to be an accountant. And that's the same path I followed. Though I always knew that there should be something far from accounting, apart from accounting in that line. But then because of exposure, we never knew it. So until I got to school and my accounting really changed to insurance. That's the truth. That's the truth. Then from insurance, when I started insurance, the learning process, I got so much interested in it because it seemed like something not so known in Nigeria at that time. And even now, insurance penetration is not that large, so it's still in the growing process. But the process is something making sense to me. So from choosing accounting and getting insurance to getting interested in the full insurance, and that's how I took it up for the next 4 years. And now I'm a graduate of insurance and I work with an insurance company.
That's very beautiful. Thanks for taking us back down that memory lane.
Say memory lane. Okay, so let's talk about home insurance, being that we're on a real estate podcast, obviously, right? So just want to know a few details. What is home insurance? The types of home insurance that Nigerians would typically subscribe to or buy into, and then the steps of actually getting home insurance. Yeah.
Okay, to start with, I think it is best to know what insurance really is before we know what home insurance is. So basically, in basic term, insurance is an arrangement between two parties where one party, called the insured or the insurance company, agrees to compensate another party. The another party is called the insured or the person that is taking up the policy. For a particular sum, they agree to compensate that person in case of an agreed loss or damage. Then there's an agreement for a small premium that person or that client will pay in return for that compensation agreement that's been in place. So insurance is basically an agreement where the insurance company agrees to compensate the insured in the event of a loss or damage to his or her property, and the insured will be paying a sum which we call the premium in return for that. So going back to home insurance, we can say home insurance is an insurance against your home or property against agreed damage. Insurance is a business of agreement. It's what we agree that insure you on. So home insurance is basically what you agree to insure on your property, on your home, anything that has to do with home.
Within the confinement
of your agreement. That's what home insurance is. Any loss or damage that occurs within the confinement of your agreement on that insurance.
It's really this within. That means that people usually want more than has been agreed.
When you want more, we can give you more. But for every policy, there's a standard agreed limit. When you now choose to want more, there's an extra cost, that comes with that more, which can be given to you. But for every policies, there's an agreed limit. Let me take the compulsory insurance we have in Nigeria now, which is the third-party motor insurance. For third-party motor insurance covers only damage against third party. That means when you use your cars to hit damage, or you hit somebody or another car outside, the agreed limit of that cover is that it doesn't cover you. It covers damage to third party. So if you now decide that, okay, I want something that can cover me and cover there's another policy for that, which will come, and that one still has its agreement and limits too. So that's why I said home insurance is based on agreement and the limit of that cover you choose to take.
Are there like different types of like home insurance, or just one?
Yes, there is. And different companies, it's this insurance is in the financial sector, is classified under the financial sector. Like banks too. Every banks have the way they catch their customers with different policies. Some will say you can do a zero account. Some will say you can't take less than. So is insurance. Every company has the kind of policies, to get customers. But the basics are, there's homeowners insurance. Basically, I think what homeowners cover is for probably people like your company. What they do, they just, build house and give it out to people. Not like they stay, Abi. Or do they?
No, we don't build houses.
We don't build houses.
It's a classified real estate platform
where you come to advertise on our platform.
Okay, you advertise on the platform.
Yeah.
But real estate companies too, they just build those houses.
Those are like construction
and
companies.
give it out. Not like they stay in those apartments.
Yeah.
So there's a moment now, their interest in that building is the property that they've built. They are not concerned with whatsoever the person coming there is going to bring into the house.
Your safety.
So homeowner is just to cover the structure that they have put in place. Then when the person acquiring the property comes into the property, he can decide to extend that cover to do something like an householder policy. And the householder policy covers the structure and the content in it.
Wow.
So it covers any damage or loss to the structure, damage that can be caused by, there's fire insurance, there's burglary insurance. Those are the kind of insurance that can be associated with building. Burglary, theft, fire, those are the things. You can't move a building, you can't move the whole building. So the only thing that can damage a building is fire, or probably there's a theft on your content in that building. So there's fire and burglary insurance and householder insurance that covers your structure and the content in it.
I have a question. What about rain? Thunderstorm,
rain,
lightning,
flood.
Hurricane.
We don't have
We don't have hurricane in Nigeria, and we don't really have like crazy storm. Do we have crazy thunderstorm?
We have mostly flood, especially some specific parts.
Rain.
So in that aspect of flood, now, like I said, insurance policy is about standard, is about limits, is about agreement. Every policy has its agreement, and every policy has an extension that can be taken to that policy. A standard householder policy will not cover something like, let me say, flood or strike or riot. Strike, riot. But you can, if you think that can be applicable to your property, you can demand for an extra cover for that. We call it an extension. So that extra cover that you demand will be charged for just a little amount, an additional amount to the premium that you have to pay for the standard cover. So when you subscribe to that extension, maybe for strike or flood or any extra extension that is associated with that building, in the event of the loss, you are covered up to the limit of what is agreed in that exclusions.
Okay, so what is the step-by-step, of insuring your home in Nigeria?
All right. The first process is the person that wants to insure his home. You choose to go to an insurance company to get their standard requirements for insurance. Insurance is governed by a regulatory body called NICOM. So there are standard rules. Yeah.
That's Nigerian.
In Nigerian, insurance is governed. There's something we call something like CIIN, which is the exemplary body. That's the examination body for professionals. But NICOM is a body. NICOM is just a regulatory body. Every organizations, every industry, that's right. In every industry has its regulatory body.
Okay.
So there are some standards that, because of the competitions and law, some people might just want to, in order to gain clients, reduce standards on some things. But there are some standards that you should never
fault on.
You should never go that one.
Okay.
So by the regulations of that regulatory body, home insurance, basically you go to anywhere you choose to do the insurance, then they give you their requirements. Then after the requirement, there's a part of inspecting the property sometimes. There's a part of inspecting the property to know, sometimes what constitute to what you'll be charged on an insurance property is the exposure of the risk you want to insure. And now a building beside the water in Lekki is not the same as a building on a dry land in Ikeja. Those are part of the exposures that a building in Mushi that is exposed to fights, and that's a building beside the filling station is not the same as a building in some residential area. So those are part of the factors. Those are the considerations that they have to go through after the inspection, and it has been agreed that okay, we can take up this building. They tell you the amount that will be charged on that building. Then after that amount that will be charged on that building, the policy of insurance in Nigeria is no premium, no cover. So the time that your insurance will take effect is when payment has been made. Without payment, that's the standard rule. Without payment, you can. So after the property has been inspected and there's an agreement between the insurance company and the client that, okay, yes, I want to do this, and your property can be, we can take this at this particular rate, and it has been agreed. The clients make the payment, and when the payment is made, then it's back to the insurance company to do the right processing and give the client the right, the document necessary for that insurance cover.
Okay, that makes sense. Seems very straight to the point, but seems like something that will probably take it.
Wow, yes.
Well, yes, it too, because insurance is a growing business. Yeah, is a growing industry. Don't let me say growing business. It's a growing industry in Nigeria, and all these processes of check and balances, because Nigerians can be, they can be funny. You can, because you want to get a best rate for your building, you can like to, hide some facts about that building. You can like to not tell us some underlying factors. But when we send our professionals there, they check the environment, they check. So the feedback from them is what they bring back to us that we come to an agreement on.
Okay, so insurance claims also raise a lot of concerns for people. So how is it difficult to pay claims?
It's not difficult per se to pay claim.
You're an insurance officer, so obviously it's not difficult.
It's not, but what I say to claim payment and settlement is that most times clients just don't want to, they delay the claim processes most times by themselves because they don't provide the necessary and appropriate documents. To every claim process, there's a document. Let me just give a rundown. When a claims happen, a detailed report, a claims form, you fill a claims form, a picture of the property damaged, the property insured that is damaged, a picture is necessary. Then if it has to do with anything like, theft has to do with police report, like stealing of, so you get a police report too is required for that, kind of thing. Then after that process, there's a process of when you submit the necessary documents, then an estimate of repair. Yeah, you do an estimate of what you think that damage that's happened to your property is cost. Then when you do that, you bring it to us. Then it's left for our own part to do our own proper check because people can be funny. People can be funny. A damage that is no more than 100,000, you can like to overshoot because I think most people still want to take insurance like a Ponzi scheme or an interest scheme that, okay, I put my money in this place. After some months, that's not what insurance is coming to. The insurance is a process of indemnifying. And by indemnifying means they are bringing you back to the exact position where you were before the loss occurred.
Okay. I think I need to go back to school to study insurance because it's so interesting.
That's what insurance has come to do. Insurance has come to give you a peace of mind that when, okay, I just have this boldness that I'm seeing this my property and I know that in the event of a loss, I have a cover for it. I have a backbone for it.
So now we're going to talk about marketing insurance policies to people. So typically, as Africans, Nigerians, I'm covered by the blood of Jesus. I don't really know why I would not now go and get insurance. That's like saying I am expecting something bad to happen to me.
The mentality.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Even
That's
if
the mentality.
you are learned,
That's the mentality.
you go to school, but even as a person that knows book and all that, but like, if I buy this insurance, am I not taunting the devil and poking him with a stick and all that, right? So how has it been, or how do you people even market insurance in such a country, in such a climate?
Or what if nothing happens to my property?
Yeah,
And
it's
I'm
true.
already
If
even
nothing
paying,
happens to your property.
and it's insured, nothing happened. Would I get a refund?
By the time I die.
So, insurance basically covers, let me put it in this way again, accidental damage. Accidental damage is never expected, regardless of blood of Jesus.
Wow. Okay.
Let me give you a practical example. The accident in Ikeja on Wednesday, they had Christians in that bus, yes or no?
Yeah, of course.
It's an accident. Now, you can be sure that blood of Jesus will work for me, yes. But are you sure that your neighbor's negligence cannot cause your property damage?
Wow.
That's another angle to it. I can be sure that the blood of Jesus is covering my property, but am I sure that my next neighbor will not do something stupid that will cause fire from his building to my building?
Okay. Now that's another angle.
So,
Let's not be
accidental damage is never expected. There are a lot of ways accidental damage come. So, it's a fact that, yes, Nigerians, that's a major problem in marketing.
Religion is like...
We are religious, yes, and it's very good. We are religious. But then, accidental damage are never expected. In fact, you don't plan a damage. You don't plan a damage. But then,
one fire to come from somewhere.
but then it occurs. It happens. It happens every day. You don't plan that when you are going, I want to bash somebody's car or somebody will bash my car. You are deciding, there's this saying when, sorry for chipping this, when FRSC, if you have been arrested by FRSC for driving wrong before, they'll take you to the office and there's this lecture they give that when you are driving on Lagos Road or in Nigeria, just always have it in mind that you are the only sane person driving on that road. Every other person is a mad person. Yeah. So if you are so careful to drive well, what of the mad person that is driving behind you? The person can hit you. And by that, damage has occurred. So if you are so sure that blood of Jesus, yes, I'm following, what if the person next to you does not believe in blood of Jesus and does something and your property is gone up in the flames? That person is grounded. So you believe in blood of Jesus, but still yet, when you have little sicknesses and all, you go to the hospital. Just, not that because blood of Jesus is not certain or doesn't work, but you need to take some, precautions, some necessary things. You need to do some necessary training at least to keep your health in stake. And that's why you have, doctors, nurses, their lines and processes. It's not like they go against the blood of Jesus, but it's just needed. It's just needed to cover some, some aspect of your life. So I believe in blood of Jesus. So, but then in terms of insurance, you are the only sane person living in your neighborhood. A mistake from your neighbor or anybody, in fact, in your house, a mistake from your maid, or it might not even be a mistake. Anything can, fire can spark up from any reactions and all.
Sockets, wirings,
So you can never be too careful.
Too careful.
And by that, damage occur. And by this religious belief is sometimes things that has grounded people in Nigeria. You don't have a backup for your property in terms of insurance, and fire occurs.
No, they have banner sticker.
Blood of Jesus sticker. Well, it does. Do you know church too insures their building now?
I was going to say that churches most definitely have insurance.
In fact, insurance is a broad scope. It's not only to property. There's the professional indemnity there. There's a life part there. There's a personal accident there. You are glowing in your house and you just sleep and fall down on the floor. Sleeping in your house can be caused by anything. It's not like blood of Jesus is not covering it, but it happened.
Okay, so the real estate market in Nigeria is majorly a rental market. Okay. So what does insurance as an industry offer, the rental market, or insurance as a way of a coverage offered the rental market?
So, like I said earlier, the aspect of homeowners where the person that owns the buildings cover the buildings, covers the structure, that is insurable interest in the building. Like you said, a rental. The only thing that is concerned about is, I've built this house. Anything that happens to this building, I'm concerned with it. But anything that happens to the content of what the person renting the building brings, he doesn't know about it, because he doesn't even know what content the person is bringing in. So for the homeowner insurance, is done. Then the person renting the building can go ahead to do, I explained it, fire, burglary insurance, household insurance, to cover, liability on that, building, on his interest, his property in that building. The homeowner might have done the insurance to cover his own structure, but you as a person renting that place, you need to cover your own interest too. What on that property? On that property, let's say the homeowner insures that property. Yeah, I've insured my structure, but you bringing that to that place as a rental. If something happens to, or there's a theft on your property, let's take for example during these ENSAs, all these malls that they loot, definitely the owner of that old structure will definitely have an insurance cover that if there's a fire, so this is my property, that's my interest, the building. But the individual persons renting those shops, they need an insurance to cover their own interest, which is their content in that building. So in the aspect of those loot, the owner of the property, homeowner, is not concerned, because that's not his interest. His own interest is the building, and since no damage occurred to that building, he doesn't have any. But the people renting those places, their interest is their content that they are bringing into the building, and they need to cover it. So if they don't cover it, and there's an insurance, and they just believe there's an insurance in place by the homeowner, what most homeowners that do rentals most times do is just to cover their interest, and their interest is the structure that they built. Whatever is coming to that structure, they do not cover it, because they don't know about it.
I was going to ask that, for example, now rental market, people move from houses to houses.
Yes.
Would my insurance, like my policy, would it follow me to another apartment? Or?
Now, that is when you insure, like I said, there are a lot of factors that comes together before you are given a particular amount to pay for your insurance. Imagine you are moving from here, this place is still a very cool area, you are moving your property to a big market like in Oshodi or in Mushin. The risks are not the same. So that too will be considered in charging you an extra rate. And most times insurance renewal, except from some engineering or policies that construction take like 5 years, that can have that long. Most times insurance policies, and you renew yearly or half yearly.
So
most times,
like a subscription.
Most times is, let's say, yearly. When you insure yearly, when there's a need for that kind of movement, you communicate to your insurance company. They can now tell you, they can advise you on what is obtainable. Sure, you get. They will advise you on what is obtainable, whether there will be an increase in rate, or they will advise you on the steps to take, how you can do your insurance to your next location, to cover your next location. Or they give you an advice.
Okay. So you mentioned, so when we're talking about the structure and then the content, right? You mentioned that the owners of the shops and all that also need to insure their properties, right? So we had a question about protests and properties being damaged during riots and all that. So how big would you say the payout is for those kind of situations?
All right. Like I said, first of all, for riot, like I said when I was explaining what home insurance is, there's a standard cover and there are extensions. Strike, riot, civil commotions, there are extensions on policy that you need to take, and it might just add a bit to your initial premium that you're supposed to pay. It's not something very large, depending on whatsoever is charged is based on the value of what you are insuring. So you get the value of your property. So in the case of when you have, subscribed to this extension and you have this cover, now in the event of loss caused by this insured peril, insured damage, the amount of payout, like you said, payout, the amount payable to the client is based on what is agreed within that policy. You are the person insuring your, before an insurance gets to the final piece, you know what you are insuring. You know, if, okay, this is my building against, I'm insuring this building for the value of 5 million naira. Depending on your agreement and extensions and, clauses in the insurance policies, is where you now decide if the agreed limit for, if the agreed limit is the sum insured of that value, they will pay you up to the amount of your sum insured on that property in the event of that strike and all that you've insured against. They pay you up to the agreed limit at the inception of the policy.
Okay, so let's just round up, So what would you, give us your final words, encourage the people to get it?
Well, like I said, insurance give you peace of mind. Most Nigerians, am I permitted to use a Yoruba adage? Is it permitted? They will say, you've died before the death that comes. Most times, what kills most Nigerians in the event of troubles or loss. You are not seeing what is pushing you. Just the fact that people are running.
You start running.
You are running. You are not running. You now fall that. You now die there. They now ask you that what is pursuing you. You say you don't know. People are just running. So most times, most Nigerians they don't believe in religious belief. That is important. But then insurance grants you that peace of mind. Peace of mind is very important in this life. The fact that I can rest and assure that even if an accident happens to my distance, I have a cover. Okay. I can get the value. But the fact that, okay, imagine, like I said, in the case of that NSAS, for people that don't have an insurance policy for their content and listening, the fact that they called you that, your shop is looted already, and you don't have insurance cover, the person can faint. That is an additional peril because your health like that have joined the risk that is on ground. First of all, the thing that they stole, risk number 1. Your health, the heart attack that you have, secondly, is risk number 2. But for somebody that has, somebody that has an insurance policy in place to cover those things, your property is gutted with fire. Yes, you'll be paying as a property owner, but money insurance now. Yeah. I have something in place to cover that risk. I have something, so I can always get my property back in place anytime because I have a cover for it. Yeah. So that peace of mind, insurance gives you basic peace of mind. That's it. That's just basic peace of mind. If you want to have peace of mind, get an insurance policy.
So this has been insightful. My name is Abisoye.
My name is Jumoke. Thank you for joining us.